Hello, and welcome to another awesome episode of the Growthvisory. As always, I am your host, Jim Crimella, and with me today is an amazing guest. I'm super excited to have him on. It's got a very unique business model, and I'm really excited to dive in to see what he does and how he does, because I think it's helping a lot of people. So welcome to the show, Peter Wright from Rock the Score. Peter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on your show. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. It is a true pleasure to have you on the show. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Rock the Score? What is it? What do you do? And how do we help people?
Yeah, we're just coming up for our seventh year anniversary. We'll be 7 years old next month. So, really excited about that. Rock the Score is a rent reporting platform. What we do is we aggregate rental data for tenants and property managers across the country. Um, if you think about it, rent is a glorified mortgage payment. You're just actually paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yep.
The problem is that payment does not get reported like a mortgage or like any other trade line for that matter. It just doesn't get reported to the credit bureaus. We're a conduit that allows that to happen. So when someone pays their rental payment, and especially if they pay it on time, which most tenants do, they're
Right.
not getting any love for that on-time payment. That really doesn't go anywhere. So it's not building their credit score. It's not improving their credit profile. But think about this: if they make a late payment, it's going to hit their credit report. So they
Yeah.
get hit if they pay it late. They don't get any love if they pay it on time. So that's where we step in. We aggregate that payment. We validate it. We verify it. We report it to the credit bureaus.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So talk to me a little bit about like the impacts or the positive impacts of reporting the rent. Like obviously you're going to add a trade line to the credit report, so that helps. But what
Yep.
does it do for like does the credit bureaus look at it like a secured loan or like a incremental loan versus a revolving credit line? And then does that what type of effect does it have on the scores? Like if I have, let's say I have a 700 or a 600 credit score and
Yep.
I'm paying my rent on time and now I go through you and I'm getting that love, as you said, on the credit report. What can I expect from a score boost? Because now I've got this new trade line. It's a big dollar amount that goes, it's on time every month. What type of positive impacts can I expect?
Yeah, some really good questions there. So let's kind of break that down a little bit. First of all, we show it as an open trade line. So there's
Okay.
a couple of different trade lines the way that the credit bureaus work. Revolving is typically a credit card. Revolving, you have a credit limit, and your balance will be up and down each month, depending on how you pay your bills. That's revolving. You also have an installment loan, which is a set payment, and that could be a car loan, it could be a student loan, it could be something of that nature. That's a fixed payment. So you have, say, a $12,000 uh, an amount for, say, a car loan or an installment loan, and your payment might be $350 a month. You pay that $350 a month each month until the payment is paid off.
Gotcha.
We report our trade line as an open trade line. And that's very important because if it was recorded as um, it's not an installment loan because it doesn't have
Right. There's no
that.
end period, right? Because you're
Right,
always
right.
going to pay rent.
But it could be treated as a revolving line, but there's danger with that because if your say your rent payment is $1,000 a month, not sure if you could rent anything these days for 1,000 a month,
Yeah,
but
it'd be a small place.
but let's just say it's $1,000 a month. Then each month you have $1,000 payment, so you're maxed out all the time. That's very dangerous in a revolving environment because the more you have outstanding against that revolving amount, it's called credit utilization. The lower your credit score is going to be. So when we worked this program in with the credit bureaus, it was vital that we had it as an open trade line so it doesn't hit that credit utilization number. Because if you have a high balance on a revolving account, even if you're paying that debt on time, your
Right.
credit scores are going to drop. So that was
Right, because
very,
that's
very
how
important.
for the listeners out there that don't know, like when you there's a lot that goes into making up your credit score, right? And when you have that credit utilization, that percentage. So let's say you have a credit card with $5,000 of available credit on it. If you
Yeah.
use more than 30% of it, now you start getting some points taken off of your score
Yeah.
because you're using that higher percentage. If you get all the way up, I can see what you're saying where if your rent payment's really technically 100% of the available credit, that's gonna do the opposite effect of what the goal is, right? Of trying to boost your score and boost your credit history. So I love that you guys have that as an open trade line.
Yeah, I mean the two biggest factors that impact your credit score is, on-time payment. That makes up 35% of your score, which is a big number. The next one is credit utilization, which makes up 30% of your score.
Wow.
So even if you pay your debt on time, your revolving debt on time, your credit cards on time, and you're maxed out every month, your credit score is going to drop like a rock. So it was very important. We're one of the pioneers of rent reporting. It's a relatively new business. And when we were talking to the credit bureaus about getting this platform in place, it was very important that it was not treated as a revolving account because it would have a bad impact, a derogatory impact on the
Right.
score, even though we're reporting on-time payments.
Gotcha. Awesome. That's
The
very good.
second part of your question, how much
Yep.
does our credit score increase after reporting rent? It's all over the place.
Okay.
There's no fixed amount. We cannot guarantee a certain increase, but obviously adding a positive trade line to your credit profile is going to have a good impact on that score. Typically, we see people with lower scores get a bigger bang for their buck. So, in your example, Jim, you said, "Hey, I have a 700 credit score." You've already got a decent credit score. So,
Right.
yes, you will get an improvement, but it might not be as big as someone that's, say, has a 620 credit score. We've seen people in the low 600s literally have a 60, 70, 100-point
Wow.
increase on their score. Someone with a much higher score, like a 700, you might get 15, 20 points, something like that.
Gotcha. Now, I was looking at your site a little bit, and you not only have like what current rent gets reported, you also have the ability, is it correct, where you can like report past payments too, like a 2 years back, I think it is. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's and 89% of our clients that enroll into the program choose that. We call it the smart option, smart reporting program. Essentially, what that is you're going to when you enroll in the program, we will report each month moving forward. So if you're in a lease for 12 months or 18 months or 2 years, we'll report that each month for you,
Right.
and your credit score will improve gradually over time, just like a normal trade line would work. We also have the ability to go back in time. So we can take a look back. We can look back at the last 24 months of historical payments. And that could be with your current landlord or property manager. It could be with a previous one. But we'll go back and we'll report that history also. And we can pop that onto the credit report in real time. So if you've got somebody with, a credit score or a credit profile that is not very robust. Maybe they've only got a credit card or maybe a car loan or something of that nature, or maybe not even that. We can put that historical payment onto their credit report and immediately give them a historical perspective on their credit
Yeah, it
profile.
really can
It,
jumpstart a person's credit profile for some like a younger people that are starting out, college kids, something like that, where they pay
yeah,
rent, they don't get any credit for it. So then they go to try to get a car loan, but their interest rate's sky high because they don't have any credit history. But how do you get credit history without it? So like you pay a penalty even though
it's a
really no
chicken and
fault
egg.
of
It's
your
like
own.
you need to get a credit profile, but you don't have
Yeah.
any credit. Well, no one will give you credit because you don't have a credit profile. So
Right.
it's
It's that
you
merry-go-round of, how do you get a credit profile if you can't get a
right.
credit?
And we use
So,
this a lot for immigrants too. We have a
okay.
lot of people that are coming into the country that are renting,
Yep.
that are, their goal is the American dream, right? They're looking to buy a home in the future. And what better way to demonstrate to a mortgage underwriter or to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that you are paying rent on time? As I said earlier, rent is a glorified mortgage payment. What a
Yep.
great
For
barometer
sure.
for a mortgage underwriter to look at someone and to see if they're going to be approved for a loan. Will you pay your mortgage on time? Well, you've been paying your rent on time for the last 2 years, so there's a good chance that that will continue. It's
Correct.
a great barometer for any loan officers or real estate agents that watch your show. It's a great opportunity for lead generation for those industries, to work with renters, help them build their credit profile over time, and turn those people into home ownership at some point.
Yeah, it's taking the long game instead of like, I want someone that's ready to go right now. It's
Yeah.
let me build that rapport, build that trust in the marketplace by getting you guys ready. And then obviously, if you help them out, who are you going to go to when it is time for that? So I love
Yeah.
that. I think it's a fascinating product. I really do. I think it's an awesome product. It helps. I'm sure it helps a lot of people. I am interested in knowing like how the business works from a growing standpoint, right? Like it's fantastic product. How do you actually get your message out there and recruit people or just show people the opportunity? Like, what do you do to grow your business currently?
It's been interesting. We do very little advertising. People actually just find us. As I say, 7 years ago when we started Rock the Score, there was a handful of companies that did this. So we were one of the first companies out there with the product, and it's been a process. Initially, TransUnion was the only bureau that accepted data. The other two are doing it right now also. But it was a very slow movement. It was, we're not used to this. Let's see how this goes. And the
Right.
bureaus were very cautious about how this was being verified and validated. Because obviously, there's a process there for us too. We have to ensure that the tenant, the renter, the data that we get is legitimate. And there's been some challenges with that, like anything else. There's a lot of fraud out there, and there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
take advantage of the program. And so we've had to evolve with that over time,
Okay.
because you got to keep one step ahead of people that try to abuse the program.
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting take where it's you don't all just have to worry about growing the business. You have to worry about the quality of people you put as customers because are they lying about the rental history so that they get like a positive boost to their score when really they shouldn't. It's an
Yeah,
interesting dichotomy, if you will.
we've seen some people that definitely try to take advantage of the program. If you think about it, and the bureaus are really cautious about this too, you could have some bad actors come in and that don't have a credit profile at all. Maybe they
Right.
don't really even exist. And they come in, they get a credit profile. Now they can go out and get credit cards on
Yep.
someone that really doesn't even exist. So, our process is pretty airtight. We validate and verify IDs, and we can tell if they're counterfeit and fraudulent, and there's a lot of that stuff going on. So we've had to evolve
Wow.
again be one step ahead of that stuff. So
For sure.
we do get some bad actors in there, but for the most part, the business has been great. We just need to be aware of that and be very conscious of that.
That's great. Awesome. So how do people find you currently then? You say you don't do a lot of advertising. It's like people find us. How
Right.
do they find you? Is it just they
So organically, they literally Google us. Rent reporting. We're one of the top companies in the country. So we get a lot of business. through people just finding us online, Google searches and that type of thing. We also like to work with property managers, and we like to work in the real estate community. So we have a really good connection with that. Property managers like to use us for a number of reasons. It provides a value added program that they can give to their residents, to their tenants, without costing the property manager any money at all. But it's a value added product that that they can offer to their residents, help them,
Okay.
build credit over time. The second reason property managers like it is it helps keep the payment on time.
Yeah,
It promotes on time payments because now if you're late,
it's
it's
gonna show.
it's going to show on your credit report too. So it promotes on time payments for the property managers, and the property managers can use it as a value added tool that really
Okay.
doesn't cost them any money and it doesn't create any additional work for them. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Gotcha. So you create referral partnerships with property managers
Yeah.
and then some real estate brokers, but really the property managers, well, most property managers are real estate brokers anyway, or real estate agents.
Yeah, on the real estate side, we really like working with lenders and real estate agents across the country. And again, we can create an affiliate program for them, so we can white label a lot of our stuff. So if you've got a real estate brokerage, we'll provide a white label marketing for them so that they can now go out into the community. They can market or farm to their lead generation, and a good renter today is going to be a good homeowner tomorrow. So
Right.
it's a great opportunity for real estate agents to go into that environment. They can market to these renters and help build credit over time while they're marketing to them, and turn them into home ownership down the road.
Okay.
So it's a great opportunity for the real estate community really to do kind of an alternative marketing plan, and most of them, really take advantage of it and do a good job with it.
Nice. So when you say affiliate, does that mean that, like, let's say I was a property manager and I wanted to use your system, I would be able to get a portion of what you charge off of it as an affiliate commission, or what does the affiliate program look like?
Yeah, we mainly do it for for the ability for the property manager or the affiliate to provide a value added tool to their client base. We do offer some rev sharing for the property managers also. We do that on our historical rent reporting platform. We try to keep the cost of our program to a minimum to allow maximum participation. We want to help all of the renters that we can. So the cost of that is very competitive and
Right.
aggressive to provide that. So there's not much money
Not
to
much of the
be
pie to go around.
right. There really isn't.
No.
But it all helps, right? So so we do offer a little bit of rev sharing for our property managers if the client does historical reporting. Basically, we give them about 15% of the rev share.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. So what does goals look like for this year for you guys for growing? Like, is it just plugging along and going, or is there like a specific strategy of we want to hit these numbers, this growth percentage, or something along those lines for 2025?
Yeah, we're looking to expand our footprint like any other business. We are not really focused on numbers per se. We're more focused on who can we help in this space. I think the next phase of our development is really going to be military bases, helping
Okay.
veterans. Um, a lot of people in the military live on bases and they try to graduate from that base to home ownership at some point. And
Right.
again, The VA loan is a great vehicle for veterans to obtain home ownership. It's a phenomenal product, and but you need a decent credit score. The
Right.
better your credit score, the lower your interest rates, the lower your closing costs. So just by adding rent to the credit report and boosting the credit score might sound like a little thing. It's a huge impact on the cost savings for when these people turn into home ownership. The difference between a 620 credit score and a 720 credit score on an interest rate on a VA loan and the closing cost that you can pay is
Right.
thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you
Especially
can,
amortized over 30 years. You look at the loan size, it's an awful 1% doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when it's 1% on hundreds of thousands of dollars and then over 30 years, it's a lot of money.
yeah, it really is, and it's very impactful. So yeah, just spending a little bit of money and getting your rent reported and building that credit score, improving your credit profile. Not only will it help you get approved for a mortgage, like I said earlier, but also it's going to impact how much you pay for that loan.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be the lowest interest rate, or maybe you're paying a higher interest rate because you've got a lower credit score, or you're also paying points at closing. If you had to pay, 2 points at closing because you have a lower credit score, and you're buying a $200,000 home, 2 points is four
It's
thousand dollars.
$4,000. Yeah.
That at closing, and not
Right.
and like you said, Jim, now you're also paying a higher interest rate that's amortized over 30 years. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. So just being a little bit proactive, and obviously paying your rent on time, but then more importantly reporting it, or equally important, reporting it,
Yep.
can save you a lot of money, when that time comes. So we're
Absolutely.
looking
Yep.
to work with more and more military bases,
Okay.
the veteran community, and we're looking to work in that more and more, certainly in 2025 and beyond.
Awesome. What challenges are you currently facing on getting into more property management, more military bases? Like, what are those challenges that you are sort of heading on and having to overcome so that you can reach those goals in 25?
It's getting to the decision makers. It's hard. Property managers, and the military bases, very protective of their brand. When you talk to property managers, you're typically not getting to that decision maker that is going to make that decision. And it's the same thing with military bases. You need to get to the person, excuse me, the person that ultimately makes that decision. So it's really getting to the decision makers. We're working with a new platform that is really, really exciting. It's called Defenders Gateway, and it's an
Okay.
app that military veterans, their families, and even first responders can all access. It's only for those people. And we're going to be a part of that app in 2025 moving forward. And the app offers discounts and programs and platforms and all kinds of stuff for first responders and veterans.
Nice.
Rock the Score is going to be a big part of that app moving forward in 2025. Right now, I think there's about 100,000 people on that app, and that's going to
Okay.
grow. Um, that's going to grow significantly moving forward in 2025. So we're really excited, and we're privileged to be a part of the that app called Defenders Gateway. So we're super excited about that. So that's a big one for us.
Fantastic, fantastic. So if we're sitting here, we I do a catch up call with you. Let's say we're in January 26, and we look back at 25, and I go, "What was your win like? Did you win in 2025? What does that look like for you?"
What does that look like? We love what we're doing. We love helping people, and we want to continue to do that. So that's a given. That does not change. The numbers would need to increase probably fivefold from where we
Okay.
are right now, for me to call that a win. We're always looking to evolve, improve our product, and increase our footprint in this space. So, that would be a win for us. Anything
Okay.
less than that, okay, we're doing, we're having a blast doing what we're doing. It's a
Right.
really fun business. It really is. And to see people that, call us or email us and say, hey, I need to cancel my subscription for Rock the Score. I just bought a house. We
Nice.
congratulate them.
Right.
That's exactly what the platform's for.
Yep.
It's to grow your credit profile, improve your credit score so that you can achieve your goals, whatever that might be. Most of the time, people are on our app, excuse me, on our platform because they want to own a home down the road. So when
Right.
we see that, we congratulate them and we let them know that.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning to chat with me. Um, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, or if anybody wants to join Rock the Score, how can they join Rock the Score, and how can they get a hold of you?
They can enroll online. It's www. Do we even need to say www
Not
anymore? I don't
anymore.
think.
Not anymore.
Rockthescore.com.
Okay.
And
Rockthescore.com.
they can access us there. My name is Peter Wright. You can email me directly if you have any um, questions about Rock the Score or looking to be an affiliate or anything of that nature. It's a Wright at rockthescore.com. And I'd love to hear from people that watch your show.
Fantastic. All right. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I think this is an amazing business. I think it's an amazing platform that is already helped a lot of people and has the opportunity now to help, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people as more and more folks are sort of stuck in that renting game. Because of where we are from an economy or an economic standpoint, I feel like this is going to be a vital tool for those people to get that extra boost that they need so that they can build that credit profile and get to whatever their goals are, whether that's just having great credit or purchasing a home or fixing something. Maybe they had credit. They made some mistakes with their credit and they're trying to rebuild it as fast as possible. So I can see that as a good application as well. Peter, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and catch us on the next episode of the Growth Advisory. Bye now.